The Tin Man!
Hi, I'm Scott Walsh, the Tryp Man, and I'm here to give you the Uber news that the Uber YouTubers just don't want to talk about. It's Monday, July 1st, 2019, and over the weekend in Grand Junction, Colorado, a pedestrian is in serious condition after he was hit by an Uber driver. Stickers for the ride-hailing apps Uber and Lyft can be seen in the back window of the car, a small Toyota SUV. As of Saturday evening, no one is in custody. In Connecticut, Bridgeport, an Uber driver was stabbed in the hand by his passenger early Sunday morning. The stabbing occurred at 3:15 a.m. Sunday at East Main Street and Pennsylvania Avenue. Drivers are trying to figure out the identity of the passenger, and Uber, of course, will not cooperate. Uber does not cooperate with police unless there is a search warrant. There have been a number of stabbings involving drivers of rideshare services such as Uber. 2 rideshare drivers got in a fight at Bradley International Airport in April, and one was arrested after being accused of stabbing the other. In Clark, New Jersey, a Lyft driver and a female passenger were also stabbed by another passenger, while an Uber driver, was fatally stabbed in New York City in March. Driving for Uber is a very dangerous profession. In Pittsburgh, an Uber driver named Lamotte was arrested for kidnapping after kidnapping 3 people, 3 different victims. He would lock the vehicle doors and tell them, "You're not going anywhere." He was serving as an assistant professor at Penn State. The school revoked his access to campus. Uber, of course, because he hasn't been convicted, is still probably letting him drive. In other news, Uber continues to lose billions of dollars, while Uber drivers make an average of $9.21 an hour, usually at 60 cents per mile. In Milwaukee, a Milwaukee public school worker and part-time Uber driver was robbed at gunpoint and had her car stolen. Just after midnight Sunday, she had just parked. You know, Uber cars are often parked, and parked. You see them everywhere. When she saw a car coming and did a U-turn, parked by her car, 2 teenagers got out and said, "Give me your wallet." So she gave them her wallet, said, "Okay, here it is." That's when they produced a gun, pointed it at her face, and took off in her Jeep. Monday afternoon, police spotted the 2 teens in the stolen Jeep. This was last week, and when they got near 25th Street and Greenfield Avenue, police said the 2 teens crashed into 2 cars and police arrested them. She said she can't afford a new car right now, but she's glad the teenagers are off the street. Police said there were no serious injuries as a result of the suspect crashing into 2 cars during the police chase. In Chicago, the attorney for a cab driver who was fatally kicked in the head by an Uber driver, said that there was another victim who had ridden with the Uber driver. He was headed to a Cubs game from his north side home when he asked to get out short of his destination. An argument ensued with the Uber driver, and Gore got out of the car at a stoplight. So did the Uber driver. He says, "You want to fight?" And I said, "You hit me and I'll sue you." And he hit him. Gore reported the July 1st incident to both Uber and Lyft and filed a police report. Uber, of course, did nothing. The police did nothing. 4 weeks later, the same driver was working for Uber at the time when he got into a traffic dispute just west of downtown that ended with the cab driver being kicked in the head, who died two days later. The Uber driver has fled to China. He was arrested immediately after the incident, but was released. An arrest warrant for first-degree murder was issued December 26, but the Uber driver had already fled the country. So, the police are working with the State Department on that.
This is what we're doing.
And what I really love about these news sites is how they always have video that plays an advertisement in the background. So the family for the Chicago taxi driver is seeking $10 million that Uber got from its recent IPO. There's so much Uber bad news it's hard to keep up with it, but I'm trying to give you the news that happened over the last weekend. There's another one about a Uber driver that groped a sleeping passenger. Here, let me see if I can turn off this video here. He got 3 years in prison after he picked up a female passenger in New York City and then groped her after she passed out and dumped her off on the side of an interstate in Connecticut after taking her phone, racking up a $1,047 fare. He was also found guilty of numerous other fake rides and submitting false vomit claims to Uber and collecting cleaning fees, and he has $3,000 worth of $3,600 in fraudulent cleaning fees. He worked for 2 years, and he would stick his passengers with overcharges for false destinations. At least 10 victims. The judge ordered Palmer to pay restitution to his victims and ordered to surrender for prison by August 19th. He'll probably flee, like all the other Uber drivers, not taken directly to jail. Do not pass go, do not get out of jail. So, in Northport, Alabama, a man pretended to be an Uber driver and picked up a 22-year-old college student. She passed out in the back seat, and after the police caught up with him, they found a loaded gun and a fake Uber light mounted on his dashboard in the 62-year-old man's car. They searched his cell phone and they found a number of women's pictures on his phone with the images of their breast and crotch area. He's been charged with 2 counts of kidnapping and impersonating an Uber driver. His bond was set at $30,000, and he's on the loose. Anybody with information about this Uber driver is asked to call the Tuscaloosa Sheriff's Office. And in March 21-year-old University of South Carolina student Samantha Jefferson was found dead after getting into a car she mistook for an Uber. And in other news, this time in Monroe, Connecticut, police officers were dispatched to Old Tannery Road for a suspicious vehicle, and they found a white BMW sedan parked on the side of the road with its windows fogged up. Police said that when officers approached the car, they found the Uber driver reclined and masturbating in the driver's seat. When the officer knocked on the car window, police said the driver appeared confused and started to pull his pants up. He said, "I work for Uber. Uber." Police said there was an open case of beer on the passenger side floor of the car. When asked to say the alphabet, he started with D and ended at K. So when police were getting him out of the car, the Uber driver got out and began reaching into his pants. Police, fearing he had a weapon, struggled with him and brought him to the ground. The Uber driver began yelling the object he was reaching for was a sex toy, which he then pulled out of his underwear. Uber, of course, had no comment. And of course did not deactivate the driver because he hasn't been convicted of anything. So he may be your next Uber driver. In New Orleans, cameras captured an Uber Eats driver allegedly reaching over the counter of a pizza place in New Orleans and stealing tip money. The co-owner of G's Pizza on Howard Avenue said the man in the video came to pick up a delivery on Friday. When the server went back to check on his order, cameras showed the man leaning over the counter and taking money out of the jar. Uber has not blocked the driver from delivering orders. He may be your next Uber Eats driver. Workers at the pizza place said they're concerned about the driver coming back to the store, or that he could do the same thing to other businesses. Well, that's the news for Monday, July 1st, 2019. I'm Scott Walsh, the Tryp Man, and you can find me on the internet at scottwalsh.ga. And remember, everybody loves Uber until they get Ubered.